Hello everyone. Someone in the comments asked me about South African pattern called the gun, and it was originally tied by Glen-Young from South Africa. And I did my research, and now because I haven't tied it before, I'm gonna tie it and keep my promise. But before I get into materials and the tying, quick update. I'm putting together a small live online course for dedicated Nymph tiers. We're going to cover patterns like this, thread control, proportions, and how to choose the right fly on the water. Live sessions, direct feedback on your ties, limited spots so I can actually work with everyone. If that sounds like something you'd want, there is a survey linked in the description below. It takes 2 minutes and I'm reading every single response. Your answers are literally shaping what goes into the course. Leave your email if you want an early access. Now, let's get into tying. First, I would like to say a very big thank you to the author of the book, The Feather Mechanic, Gordon Vander Spuy, and also I would like to thank Glen-Young, Glen-Young, who actually invented this pattern that I'm going to cover in this video. So, I'm going to go through the book and tie the fly as close to the original as I can, because I will deviate from in few things for a reason, but let's get into it. I will first deviate because I'm going to use jig-off style tungsten bead instead of slotted. I'm going to use silver, same as the original. And when it comes to materials, you should use jig hook, slotted or jig off bead, obviously. Some thinner GSP would be preferable. For the tag end, chartreuse thread is what I need. Something where I'm going to deviate a little bit more, I guess, because I don't have the original material, is this one. So instead of having a flashaboo by the number of 3204 UV flashaboo, that's the original one, I will be using just this Chinese one, but I think it works well. For the legs and tails, I will be using Hairlines Senios Shaggy Da Black. For the thorax material, it's Peacock Dubbing. This is the only one in kind of black that I have, so I definitely have to restock. And let's go into it. First of all, because GSP is slippery, I'd like to wax it a little bit. That's why I have this piece of wax over here. And then I'll start near the bead, cover the hook shank, and now I'm covering it a little bit more. If you just cover a small portion of it, it may twist on you, but like this, it won't. I forgot to mention this, the wire. Wire is small. UTC small or extra small is what you need. Now I'm gonna invert the hook and I'll go figure 8 over here, and after a couple of figure 8s I'll go down the shank to prevent spinning around, and then again in very tight turns I'm gonna cover this, and that's it. Counter spin the bobbin holder to flatten the thread, and take the first fiber, if you will, loop it around. As you can see here, I'm going to loop it, and then I'm just going to lead it on the top of the hook shank, stretch it out to make it thinner. This prevents bulk, and with flat thread, which will not cut into the this fiber, span flex. Now release the tension on it. Okay, that's it. You want this V shape showing in. With flat thread, I'm going back. Now, attaching the wire on the far side, that's according to the author, says span flex is looped and tied on the top of the hook shank to form the tail of the fly in the V shape. Now, run the thread forward to just behind the lead wire. That's where I deviate here. I don't have lead wire here. And tie in your rib in on the far side of the hook shank. And then advance your thread back to the end of the shank, ensuring your rib stays on the far side of the hook shank. So, by ensuring the rib staying on the far side of the hook shank, you will have a benefit of not messing your tail up when you start when you start your fly, when you start ribbing your fly. Okay, now I'm gonna counter spin the bobbin holder again. Now, fluorescent thread, let me see. Fluorescent thread is now tied in for the butt of the fly, and note the end position of the thread. And it shows that the thread is just slightly in front of the tying point. So I'm going to just take a small piece of this thread and I'll just 1 rep, 2 reps here, slide it out, and then I'll cinch on it so it doesn't pull out, because I'm gonna pull hard on this thread very soon. You will see why. So if you start wrapping it like this, if you don't wiggle it a little bit, it won't set nicely. So you want to wiggle it like so. Let me just back up here because it's flattened too much. And this is it. Again, wiggle to make it flat and tight. And I think I'll stop it here. 1, 2. Now Gary says to tie in the rest of the thread towards the hook eye, and that's what I'm doing right now. Next step is, let me see, so the fluorescent thread is wound forward to create a small butt. Tie in and tie down excess all the way up to the lead wire, meaning here. Then tie in your flashaboo for the body of the fly all the way to the butt and return your thread back behind your lead wraps. So I'm going to take a strand of flashaboo. This one may be a little bit thick, and there is a note in the book. Let me just, there is a note in the book saying that you can actually thin it down by stretching it, like wiggling it and running your fingers down it. I tried on this fly to tie it without stretching it, and it works okay. So just run the thread down all the way to the green hotspot. And just go back. That's it. Now what it says: wrap the flashaboo forward and tie in at the thorax area of the fly. The excess flashaboo is manipulated and tied in position to where it will be used to form the wing case of the fly. A black permanent marker is used to the color of the top and the sides of the abdomen. So I'm just gonna do this. If you don't wiggle it a little bit and stretch it, it will leave a bulge over here, but if you wiggle it nicely, overlap slightly, this will leave a nice body for us. Now I'm gonna do exactly what Gary is suggesting. I'm gonna leave it on the top like this. Don't bother if it's not centered right now. Okay, I'm gonna cut it so it doesn't interfere with the tying, obviously. He said everything is colored, so top, be careful not to color the green thread, because it will soak in the color and then you will leave, it won't be hot spot, it will be black spot. Now he said 3 sides, meaning lateral and top side, leaving the bottom intact. And as you can see, I'm holding my hand on the vise. Everything is more accurate and stable, so I don't wiggle. If you just try to do it like this, you're going to make a mistake. So this is what we are left with. 3 sides colored, 1 side not. Wrap your wire forward in neat even turns and tie it to the thorax area of the fly. That one is quite straightforward. So I'm just gonna make ribbings. Don't count. Well, this is not very even, not very neat at the moment. Now it's better. Okay. I'm gonna make 2 turns of it. I can fold back the wire to lock it down. Helicopter it to break it off. Broken. Now, turn the page. We are getting near the end. Now, I'm going to fold this back first. And now I want it centered. It says, lightly dab the tying point of the legs. This makes tying of the legs easier as they don't slip. Now tying the Spanflex leg one at a time. And it says, tightly dab your thorax. So I'm going to use this dubbing, which is unfortunately cut into very short fibers. And that makes it a little bit trickier to tie, to dub. It doesn't hold around the thread as well as a little bit longer fibers. That's the downside of this dubbing. But again, if you're using very sparse amounts, you will be okay with this. Okay, now this should be okay. 2 Spanflex fibers are needed now, for each side 1. So what I actually do is I position Spanflex across the hook, let's see, like this. So when I go in with my thread, it doesn't push it away. Okay, now put it in a position, 1 or 2 more reps. Spanflex is like rather wiggly material, and I like it because of that. It incorporates a lot of movement in your fly. If you go to Troutfly's channel, I did a collaboration with them. We also discussed this one, and I'm sure that Gary had, I mean, he also says it, movement in his mind when he was creating this fly. Again, cross it, set the legs as you wish, tighten, and then just go. As you go forward, you may want to correct leg positions a little bit. And that's it. This looks fine. Nicely spread. Okay, let me see where is this. Okay. These legs are huge right now, but never mind. As you can see, Spanflex, unlike rubber legs, is thin and it moves more easily in the water, which attracts fish more. Last touch is to color this underside. Okay. Color it black and then make a wing case cover. I'll keep it centered as much as this is possible. Okay, now cinch it down because you want this to set nicely. And what I like to do is to color the thread just to give it final touch. For that, I will use my wave finishing tool. Cinch it down. One more. Good. Now I'm gonna just cut this as close as I can to the tying point. Flip things around. Okay. Cut the excess fibers. I'm going to cut those excess fibers from the top because they will interfere with adding UV. Okay. Obviously, you need to be careful not to cut the legs. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it down, and I'll use heckle pliers for that. Let's keep it a little bit more down. Yep, not a bad idea on the spot. Anyway, my trusty UV and my trusty needle. You need really tiny drop of UV for this, and just spread it on the top and on the sides of this fly. You don't need to do 360 thing. And as Gary says in one of his videos that I've seen, this will protect it from the teeth. So just a couple of seconds here. And there is one more thing to do. An even tinier drop goes on the wing case. And connect the wing case to the abdomen. Makes things more durable. And the whip finish knot, again, makes it more durable. So this is the gun Perdigon. It gets down fast. Its profile is clean. And the colors and contrasting colors are triggers to the fish. It's a really good fish taker for most people I know. And hope you will have some luck with it also. If you want to learn more patterns like this, please check the link in the description. Follow the survey, please. Fill it in. It's just 2 minutes and it helps me a lot to build a better course for you guys. Now, before I say goodbye, I'm gonna just cut the legs to length, and you want them to be tail part should be around like this. So this one is like being very boring here. So tail part is going to be rather long. Don't stretch them because they will go back. So kind of shank length. And 2/3 of the body length is what Gary says should be for the legs. I'll keep them a little bit longer than that. I just like the movement they give. Okay. And this one is definitely falling down non-stop. That's it. As you can see, it moves like crazy. It's durable, easy to tie, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, keep safe and tight lines.